to recognize a veteran. So I want to ask David, how do they get in touch with your chapter, or who do they contact to do this?
Well, the short, quick answer to that is you can go to our website, which is purpleheart730.org, and there's a link right at our homepage that says Own a Piece of History, and that leads you to a page where you can order the pavers. The pavers come in 4 different colors, 2 different sizes. The colors means options in this particular regard. There's a 4x8 that allows you to have 3 lines of text. The 8x8 paver has 3 options. One is 5 lines of text. The other is a 2-inch service medallion with 3 lines of text. And the other is a 3-inch medallion with 2 lines of text. The prices vary. The 4x8 is $75. The 8x8 is $100. The 2-inch medallion is $150, and the 3-inch medallion is $175. But all of those options are available and explained online, again at purpleheart730.org. And the ordering process is really very simple. If you have a computer, you can order online. You can fill out your inscription online. It produces an automatic electronic invoice.
Wow.
that is delivered via email to the person who ordered it. When that you can pay online using either PayPal or a credit card. And so it's really simple. It's easy if you have a computer. If you don't have a computer, you can call 775-629-6168, and we can do the process manually. And what happens then is that's the chapter number, but that our Commander Dan Peterson will take those orders, and then he'll go online and fill it out electronically and send you the invoice. You can if you're doing that manually, you can pay by check, and when the check is cashed, then the inscription that you have suggested or desired goes on a list to the city of Henderson, and the city of Henderson has to approve all the inscriptions just to make sure that there's nothing obscene or political or offensive that's included. But once we have the city's approval, then we contact a local engraver who actually does the engraving on site.
Wow.
And Dan and I, again, Commander Dan Peterson and I, typically are there when the young gentleman who does the engraving actually performs that act, and we make sure that if somebody has specified they want a couple of pavers to be close together, or if they want them in a particular configuration, Dan and I can make sure that happens.
Wow.
Now, and we had one gentleman who's a member of the chapter who had his own paver made, but right next to his paver, he had a paver for his great-grandfather who was killed in the Civil War.
Wow.
And so he wanted those 2 pavers close together, and since Dan and I are there when the engraving is done, we can make sure that happens. So if anybody has any special needs or special desires for a particular configuration or placement of pavers, we can inscriptions on the pavers, we can make sure that happens.
I want to see all those sections of bricks filled up, and I understand that the commander said he has more that you can have plenty more.
Yeah, there are currently just slightly over 1,800 pavers. Both 1/3 of them are 8x8, 2/3 of them are 4x8, just because they alternate in the pattern on the plaza. But there are over 1,800 pavers. We are well short of filling that, but the the city, again, being as gracious as it is, ordered additional replacement pavers in case there were any damage or anything. And so there is a possibility, we have discussed theoretically the option with the city of taking out some of the concrete and replacing some of the concrete in the plaza area with additional pavers, should that be necessary. We really, would like to be faced with that problem because, again, in its graciousness, the city of Henderson has allowed the chapter to sell the inscriptions and keep whatever profits exist over the cost of the engraving.
So that's a fundraising. I just want to bring this to your attention. People, there's so many people fundraising for worthy projects. But you just heard of this journey of a veteran that served. He got injured. He's contributed. And he's just been all over the world taking care of you to keep you free. So think about recognizing somebody, making a contribution, getting something back that's going to be here long after you're gone to recognize a veteran, but it's going to take care of our living veterans. It's a fundraising because you're saying they're making a little bit of money.
Yeah, and of course, saying that there's a fundraising aspect of this thing raises the issue of whether or not anybody should care about whether or not they support the chapter's activities. So let me talk a little bit about the things that we use our money for.
Please.
One of the things that I'm proudest of is that we have our senior vice commander, Richard Kern, is also a Nevada certified veteran advocate. So he is authorized by the Veterans Administration to interview veterans and with respect to their claims or rebuttals of denial of claims with the VA. And he can talk with them, help them assemble all of their evidence and fill out all the paperwork. The only thing he cannot do is enter it into the VA system officially, but he has a contact at the hospital that does that for him. Richard has also recruited 7 additional people that he has encouraged to go through the Nevada training and help train himself. So that right now we maintain 2 offices in the vet centers in both Henderson and Las Vegas on a 5-hour-a-day, 5-day-a-week schedule for drop-in people. But you can call Richard and you get his number on our website. Again, that's purpleheart730.org. And call Richard and make a personal appointment outside his normal office hours. And over the past 3 years, Richard and his cohorts have helped nearly 3,000 veterans with their claims with the VA system, and I happen to be one of them.
That's great.
Who benefited from their assistance, so I can tell you from personal experience that they do good work. So that's an ongoing thing, and the chapter supports that effort by buying computers and office supplies, paper, ink, and stuff is necessary.
And that's a necessary program,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and so we're really happy and pleased to be able to have established that. Again, it's largely through the efforts of Richard Kern. One of the other things that pleases me the most is over the past 3 years, the chapter has kept 8 veterans' families from going homeless by providing temporary financial support when they ran into temporary financial difficulties and were about to be evicted from their homes. So when we are made aware of an issue like that, we can turn around that request in about 3 days and provide rent assistance to people to keep veterans' families from going homeless. We talked earlier about the difficulties associated with post-traumatic stress disorder and the ways that it can disrupt veterans' lives.
Absolutely.
In extreme cases, that results in the logical equivalent of house arrest. We have encountered now 3 veterans who essentially had so isolated themselves from society that they had not left their house in years.
Oh.
One way to address that issue is to provide that veteran with a service dog.
Yeah, I want to hear more about the service dog.
And unfortunately, that is a benefit that the Veterans Administration does not currently provide. We have established a relationship with a group called Michael's Angels Paws in Las Vegas, who provides that training for the veteran and the service dog. Cost is $1,500. It takes about a year to get both the veteran and the dog trained, and the dog is kind of not only a gift, but it also kind of forces the veteran to reintroduce him or herself to society, because the dog is not only a benefit, but it's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
So now the veteran has to take the dog for the walk, and it gets him out of the house, and it starts to break down this isolation
Right.
that the veteran has built up around him or herself. And that's not a theoretical pronoun stuff. We have had at least one female veteran who was in a position that needed a service dog. So our female veterans are not immune to the ravages of the invisible wounds of war.
Absolutely.
And so we're really pleased. If you haven't run into Michael's Angels Paws, you can Google them. The backstory on Michael's Angels Paws is quite impressive. I think it will have a strong emotional impact on you, as it did on us, to understand why they're in the business that they're in. But they do a very extensive screening and vetting of the veteran, the dog, the compatibility between the veteran and the dog.
Excuse me, this is so great, but we're going to take our final break and come back and continue talking about the doggy.